Hey, hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so I think that we are ready to start. And Wojciech, I think that the stage is yours, and then I'm happy to pick it up.
Yeah, sure, let's do it. Just hold on. Second, technicalities. Getting there. Here we are. Right, hello everyone. We wanted to welcome you on our webinar. That's our joint webinar together with Active and KYP.ai. The webinar is called How GenAI Accelerates Intelligent Document Processing Results. And today you will have a chance to see a groundbreaking intelligent document processing solution, which will be presented by Edward. Edward is Active's CEO and co-founder. He will speak about himself a little bit later, because first of all, I will have a voice. My name is Wojciech Matłosz, and I work in KYP.ai. And KYP helps to identify process improvement potential within processes. And as you may already feel, there will be like two parts of the presentation, but they all together combined tell a story. The first part will be about identifying potential for intelligent document processing within your business processes with KYP. And then we will move on to Edward's part. Edward will take us through intelligent document processing active tool. Okay. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any question, there should be this button Q&A, and if you can type that question there, it would be amazing. At the end of the webinar, we hope to have a couple of minutes to go through the questions and give you the answers, hopefully. Okay, I think we can start. Basically, guys, what I wanted to start with is a statement, and myself as being the process guy for like, I don't know how many years, I truly believe that whenever we want to change a process, whenever we want to improve our process, we need to start with clarity. And this clarity is not always easy, right? Because we can have business process which is executed on our employees' laptops. We can have big teams, 20, 30, hundreds of people doing the process, and they can also be spread across different locations. They can work at the office, they can work at home, they can work in hybrid mode. So we have a lot of situations there, and the data is not always visible. It's not always well structured. So getting the visibility, getting the clarity is not always easy. And this is where KYP comes in, because we are generating the data which is describing your business process, and then we transfer those catered, unstructured data into actionable insights. So thanks to this, you will have a very clear picture of how your process looks like, and the data which would be there would also describe every single process with every single step of that process, and will also help you to make informed decision about process change, process automation, together with justification of the value that you are trying to grab, for example, through intelligent document processing. So let me give you one example of one of the customers. They have this process where their customers are sending to them some requests. Let it be request claim processing, for example. And these requests, they have a lot of documents, a lot of attachments, right? And these attachments are of very wide scope. That can be PDF attachments, that can be JPG attachments, that can be any other kind of attachment. And also within these PDFs or JPGs, there are photographs of documents. There are photographs of IDs, personal IDs, and very often this documentation is also handwritten. Believe it or not, there is a team which is manually going through those attachments, and they are reading that, and they are taking the most important information that they are looking for, and then they move this data into their business tools. This is not really very creative work, but it's very heavy. They really have a lot of work, and they just click through it all day long. And there is another team which is checking the quality of the data that has been provided by the previous team. So you can imagine how much work there is done, which is not really creative, not really building a lot of value for the business. It's just something that could be done automatically. I think you already have this feeling that, like, this is not what we are made for, right? Some people say, hey, let's get this robot out of a human, and that's exactly what we are trying to do. Then the day comes by, the day is finished, and this person is super tired because the whole day was just dealing with these documents, moving the data without really having this satisfaction that something very valuable has been done. On the other hand, we also can have a team which is dealing with invoices, and these invoices are sent through PDFs, but the layouts of invoices, there are, like, thousands of different layouts, fonts, and different formats. So this is all the input to the process that needs to be handled, and I truly believe that you know exactly some examples from your own operations where people are really handling those documents which are flowing to your teams. And in the end, this time that is spent on those documents, it's a waste, right? It's a pure cost. And I found one research where it was said that even up to 30% of employees' time is really spent on that, right? And if you think about it, it's really huge cost. As you see, there are millions of hours that we lose because of things like this one, and there is huge opportunity, right? If we see that we are losing time, then it's also a great value opportunity. And if you imagine that this time that your teams are spending on handling those documents and dealing with these pieces of information, if this time could be spent on something more valuable, on problem solving, on kind of innovation, or driving process outcomes, then we can switch the coin, right? We can flip the coin. We can turn the waste into something valuable. And that's what intelligent document processing can do. And we, as KYP.ai, we will tell you where this waste is located within your process, and we will help you to quantify it in order to help you create your ROI of your business case, so that you can sleep well, that your business case is not guesstimated, but it's really based on the real figures, on the real data. And how we do it? Basically, very often we have this question, our customers are asking, yeah, it's all nice, but how do I start, right? Where should I really deploy my process improvement tools in order to maximize the benefits and avoid the situation that I have too many licenses and those licenses are not being used? And it's a valid question. Again, there was a research done which calculated that almost half of software licenses are not used. So that's pure cost that we are paying for some licenses, but it's not being used. Because, coming back to the first slide, most probably there was no clarity about how operations work, how process looks like, and where the problem is really located. And what we do, we take this challenge about, okay, let's target this improvement in a very precise way. We take this challenge and we split it into 3 steps. The first step is about gaining visibility. This is where we are generating the data, which is showing you how your process flows, how it really looks like, what are the numbers. Then we are moving to the next step, which is about calculating the impact. We are using the numbers, we are using the data to show you where the impact can be the biggest, and we help you to calculate your return on investment. And with this, you can prioritize your portfolio of improvements in order to select those improvements that in this scope, in this process for this team drives the biggest value. And then the third step is about making sure that your investment is well used. And then you can see within a process after the change, if the change is already there and the team are following the changed tool set. For example, if they are following the new intelligent document processing tool, or hopefully not, they are back to the old school way, because sometimes it happens. So you need to monitor it. So you need to make sure that every license that you have bought really counts and brings the value. And just a couple of words about these steps to give you a little bit more insights. The first step being the visibility part. KYP works in a way that the data is created every single day when there is process executed on the computer with the software. And then this data is combined in order to give you some actionable insights. And those insights, they are organized around 3 pillars of your organization. That is people, process, and technology. So as you see, you really get 360 degrees overview of your operations, which you can use not only for visibility purpose, but basically you can use it to transform your processes with intelligent document processing into a machine creating a value, not really creating waste and cost. The second step being the value identification, because you have the visibility, and now we are jumping to identifying the value. It's where we are jumping into the data and we are looking for some data patterns. As a first step here, we are analyzing where you are handling documents, right? So we are analyzing the workflows and we see that, oh yeah, we are spending a lot of time on documents here and here, but not here. And we are analyzing PDFs and we are analyzing JPGs, Office, and so on. And then when we have these areas, we deep dive, we kind of zoom in into these activities, and we are looking for patterns where we spend a lot of time on reading those documents, on copy pasting information, on retyping information between the systems, or we are reading from the document and then retyping this information to a system, just like this team from my early example. And then with this, we take all the information behind it, including durations and FTEs and so on, and we are calculating the potential for your process change, for your process improvement. And you can imagine right now that with these informations, with these metrics, you are really confident that your project, that your business plan makes sense, because it's not estimation, it's not something that someone feels could be useful, but it's really based on tough data, on something that was not manipulated by anyone, because it's just pure data. And then the third step being the scalability and sustainability. This is where you capture the results and you reinvest those results into high value tasks, right? The core of this is to free up the potential of people who are doing things that can be automated, and then you create more value through this team, because they can now focus on things that they didn't have time for, or they can just start doing something that brings much more value to the business. Then you want to expand it, right? Because you need to look for the opportunities to scale what you have already worked on in different process, in different team, different department, thanks to which your ROI gets multiplied, right? It gets bigger and bigger. And then at the end, as we mentioned, as always, it's very important to monitor, to sustain the change, to make sure that the change is already a part of your organization DNA, and that it is becoming just a normal behavioral thing, that the new solution is a part of daily routine. Yeah. So as you see, it's not just an improvement project, but it's something that we are really saying here is that it enables the culture of digital improvement, right? It's not about guessing, it's not about someone's feeling, but really having the rough data plus business context to to feed your investment pipeline. And now I hope that's all understandable, and I will quickly take you to our KYP solution to show you how it looks like in the tool. Okay, so just bear with me for a second. I'm getting there. It's already up. Okay, so we are in KYP tool right now, and we have some example of the data. And based on this example, I want to show you how we can take the value out of your data. So we will focus on 1 month, and we will focus on, let's say, this team here, BPO APAC, and let's select invoice processing. Basically, the data that KYP is generating is quite wide amount of the data. You can see a little bit of it in the table here, which is called activity log. You see that there are activities which are executed within this process by a selected team, and we have minutes and seconds. It's a little bit different from process mining, for example. In process mining, you have hours and days. Here in productivity mining, you have minutes and seconds, and you see every single applications that were used to create the value within the process. The data can be anonymized depending on your needs, and this data is then used to find the patterns for automation. To find the pattern, I will just quickly move to configuration parts of our KYP tool. You can create many different patterns that you are interested in, and one of those patterns would be intelligent document processing. Now let's move there. And this pattern we can find here. It's intelligent document processing. We give you some basic setup, and you can create also your own setup according to your needs and your knowledge. So for example, here within intelligent document processing, we want to have a look into this pattern where we say that, hey, whenever you see a data pattern that we are in this applications, and we copy or cut the information, and then as a next step, we paste the information, we want to label this opportunity as intelligent document processing opportunity. And as you see, then we can run this classification automatically. It's up to you. You can also set up some thresholds within which you want to run this auto classification, and above which you want to do it manually. And this pattern is then used on the front page, on this front end part of the analyst, for the analyst to find the opportunities for automation. First of all, let me show you how to kick it off. Let's go to improvement classifier first. This is where we see our activities. We see what was the sequence of activities. We can display way more than just one. And you see on the right side, there is a legend, right? And this color, which is, I would risk it's pink, but probably it's not. My wife would have different opinion. But this color is linked with intelligent document processing. And you see, for example, that this pair of activities where we go from review invoice PDF, and then we go to this application to edit some batch. This has already been classified as intelligent document processing opportunity. You can also do the same in the format of a table or a list. That's actually the same kind of data, but organized a little bit differently. And let's filter through intelligent document processing data pattern. And you see all those pairs of activities where you follow the pattern, this pattern, and you have all the information there, including how many copy, paste, and how much time was spent within those applications, within those process steps. And when you do it, as I said, you can do it automatically, you can do it manually, like this, and you can also do it semi-automatically, semi-manually, depends on your needs. And then when you classify it, then you can see what is the potential there within this process. When we go to improvement candidates, for example, you can see that we have classified intelligent document processing within our invoice processing process. And there is good potential there of 1.3 FTE. which is equivalent of this cost. This cost is calculated according to the grades that we can configure within the tool. And you have your annualized benefits there, which you can straight away use within your business case to calculate your return from the investment. And now just the last panel that is also very useful could be productivity overview, for example. This one will tell us if our implementation was successful. So let's just display our improvement data, and let's just narrow it down to our invoice registration only. And you can see how much time is fulfilling the data pattern, the data pattern that we have set up under this improvement candidates. I mean this one. And for example, if the implementation was somewhere here at the beginning of February, then you see that the amount of work there has dropped. Now, I think we would rather see it going down, down, down every single week. So I would say that based on this data, I think we would need to repeat the communication and repeat the training that, hey, there is a new active intelligent document processing tool, guys, that you are supposed to be using, and the change should be strengthened within the team. Okay, I hope that that makes sense. And now talking about intelligent document processing tool, I would pass over to you, Edward, if you can take it from here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Wojciech. Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Ślepecki. I'm CEO of Active, as Wojciech mentioned before. And I'm sure that you are here today not to listen about my long bio, but rather to see the product functionality. So I will quickly jump into that directly. So I'm sharing my screen, and I hope and believe that you can well see it. So in a nutshell about Active, so we are a regionally services company, and we are mainly working in Europe. We are also now actively expanding in some other regions as well. Um, uh, Unlike like for many like smaller companies, I think that we were lucky with having and we are very happy to have our larger customers, some of them from Fortune 500 and other large enterprises on the board. So you can see them on the right side of the screen. We are also recognized as a company as well as me as individual for qualitative contributions to the community as well as business in areas of digital transformation. When it comes to document understanding or intelligent document processing, it has various names, etc. As a service provider, we are working with different technologies already for several years. So either like whenever you are considering the platform approach, linking it across the different other applications, RPA robots, etc. We are extensively using UiPath technology. We do also historically and nowadays have some customers on Abi, Rosum, or Microsoft as well. And then 2 years ago, or a little bit more than 2 years ago, we had a big hype with GenAI and LLMs. And then after some time of publishing LLMs, I think that it took about half a year when it started to work with attachments. And once it started to work with attachments, I'm sure that you have tried already to throw some pictures in there, generate some pictures, and also tried some documents as well to see how it works. And to the surprise of many people, it was producing quite good results. Where the limitations are of Gen AI is that you, as the LLM is based on a large training set, you cannot change the way it behaves, and also you cannot actually train it. So the learning mechanism is really, I would say, even broken, because you cannot write million times to the LLM saying, okay, change the extraction from this field to that field, etc. As well as it doesn't have any document portal, so you don't want your users to process it in ChatGPT or Azure OpenAI or Copilot, constantly chatting about the files, but you just want this thing to work. And it doesn't also have like documentation portal and a verification station. So where we see an opportunity is that we would like to our customers to be able to use GenAI in document understanding directly, and also covering this possibilities. So this is how the Active Extract was born, and in-house we have developed the verification station. Also, we do have a document portal and learning mechanism, which is quite rapid learning, I must say. So this is a story of how the active extract was born. And speaking of the active extract, so this is a template-free solution, means that you can throw any documents at it in any layout, and it will be able, out of the box, with a small fine-tuning, able to well recognize all the fields from it. It gives a user opportunity also to train it, so meaning that whenever you correct anything on the extraction, the next time it would consider your correction as well. It is fully based in cloud, though we have an options to deploy it also to the customer environment, so we will discuss it later. We have a verification station. We do have different reporting options. First is out of the box, so you have it together with the tool, and then also we are able to bring the data into the business intelligence solutions that you are using in-house, be it Power BI, Kibana, Tableau, you name it. And then it is fully consumption based. So you pay actually for what you consume in terms of pages, documents, etc. Moving on, and speaking about the deployment, so the product is 100% Azure based. So all the technologies which are used in there are based on Microsoft Azure, what means that in case that and there are two options of deployment. So one is fully managed by Active. So you have the software as a service where you pay per page and you don't need to worry about any infrastructural topics. But in case that you would like to have some more sensitive data stored also on your end, there is a possibility that all the know-how components will keep on our end. Whenever we refer to OpenAI, we always refer to Azure OpenAI. We do not work, I just want to highlight, we do not work with the GPT directly. So all the security and GDPR concerns, if we speak about like deployment in Europe or deployment in the US or APAC, so all of that is possible with selecting the right location. And every customer for us has a dedicated cloud. So meaning that your data are not anyhow mixed with data of any other customers. Yeah. So you have a possibility of two types of deployment, and you have also a possibility of hosting most of it in your Azure ecosystem or any other ecosystem with the databases, etc. Then speaking of processing sequence itself, so actually we have a connectors and we have an API enabled as well. So meaning that you do not need to use any UI if you want to interact with our tool. Everything can be API based. So you can integrate it directly with your tools. You can embed it also into your existing applications, and it will open in there. But in case that you need the UI, we provide a full experience in there as well. So we have API connections. We can also communicate with the databases, any web services, email protocols, etc. What makes it quite well integrated with all common solutions, either within the Microsoft ecosystem or overall with any type of the software itself. As we are supporting HTTP and SFTP protocols, it is possible even to get the documents directly from the devices, be it printers or any other materials as well. And moving forward, so it supports the various file formats, but I think that you will be more curious to see it in action, where I'm heading for now. Last but not least, it has also the classification functionality present. So meaning that we are not only like reading the information from the document to extract it, but we also can classify. And for example, if you are sending the document which consists of, I don't know, 100 pages, but you need to extract only 20 of them distributed along all the other pages, it will be able to classify and tell you what type of document. It may be like several invoices in this long document, several delivery notes, etc. It will be able to classify on what pages what documents are and extract them as a separate units. Speaking of extraction itself, so the sequence looks the following. So we use Microsoft IDP for OCRing the document and bringing any picture, any format actually into the readable text. Then understanding itself, where we use the Azure service to understand it. Optionally, we have a possibility to connect to the master data. And then once we connect to master data, we are able also to execute the business verification, business rules verification. So in case that you want to add some custom logic, you have a possibility with low code, no code to add this through Azure Logic apps. Yeah. Then we have the processing, and here actually we split it to automatic or manual processing. I will show it later on a demo, verification, and the completion itself. And what is important to mention is that we do not use your data for any sort of training for the overall model, etc. As we are using LLM, it is already trained on millions of samples of the other documents. So actually your isolated environment and all your data are used only to train your particular environment. And we are not anyhow trying to use this data for enhancing of the model itself. What is very important, we even don't have it in the contract like asking for permission or not, because it is not actually it is not needed to use it for improvement of the model itself, but model is improving more with the releases of new open AI models. And yeah, I think that it is better once to see that many times heard. So I will now bring the solution itself on the screen. And if you have it in-house, this is how it may look like. Depending if you are admin or the user, you would first of all have the different types of the documents. You can have a separate flows. You may have it also like different teams can have a look on, like you can have it not only split by document type, but any segregation. So it can be departments, it can be countries, locations, etc. And we can have multi-layer hierarchy built in here. I will start with setting, and I would elaborate on how the setting works. As it is a LLM based to the large extent, you have a possibility to actually by prompt create a different classification layer. So for example, if you want to classify the invoices or even the particular invoices, so imagine if you have several business entities, you can say in Austrian invoices and also I don't know, the UK invoices or German invoices. So you can just say that okay, the invoice recipient would be this company or invoice recipient would be that company, because most likely they are all sent into one or two legal entities within the organization. And then same is regarding the fields. You have a different field types, and you can always also decide. It is not mandatory, but it is possible also to decide what format of the data it has. And for example, if you have additional information that invoice number, for example, starts with 450, you can include it in there, and it will be reflected in the post-processing. Just by prompts and naming the field, you can add or remove additional fields which you want to have extracted in the model itself. So configuration of the model literally like takes 10-15 minutes before it is ready to use. And then we have some other possibilities of telling what fields are mandatory or not, or if we want to include or exclude some fields into the further reporting. Yeah, so this is how it works in terms of configuring it. And then probably like you're more curious to see how it works on practice. So I have several samples prepared for you to show how it looks. Here is the portal. And in the portal, you always will have a file name. You will have a verification link, which if you don't use the portal, we can also send using the API or send using an email to the end user. Then we have a status of the document, then extraction status. Either it is automatic pass or manual. So everywhere where we see 100% gets the automatic pass. But what is important is that as a customer, you can say that, okay, even if it is 100%, but there are certain rules validation against the master data, we still want it to be flagged for manual review. Let's say if credit limit is exceeded or anything like that. Then we have a number of fields which are mapped to be extracted from the document, as well as how many fields we were able to recognize. Based on this, we have the extraction percentage, and then some additional fields which I would elaborate on later. So I will be showing you how the documents are being processed. And I would start with the first document, which is a like sort of happy path, let's say, where we have all the fancy fields well mapped and everything. And we can see that we were able to extract all the header data. Well, whenever I click on any of the fields, it also tells me where this information comes from. You see this blue highlight. So actually, it will be telling you where it extracts the information from. And if any of the information missing, so for example, we see here the line items, and if any of the information missing, I can simply just go ahead and select this information, and either I can copy it, I have a possibility also to edit and add additional information, and then insert it into the field I want. You can see on the top here also the icons which tell you that some information may be missing or not on the screen. So here it recognizes, for example, the rebate as if I or rabat, I don't know, I assume it is the same as one of the items as well, and it doesn't have any tax rate in here. So it says, oh, by the way, that you don't have this information in. So if I theoretically would like to extract the similar value, I would just go ahead and extract it as it is in here. So, but this is for happy path. I think that you are more curious to see what it does with the messy document. So what I want to show you first is that we have one document prepared for you in a really bad quality. So in a quality where actually there is a little bit challenging also for people to read with their eyes. Important to mention also is that all the demos all the documents which we are showing here are like dummy invoices and dummy documents. So it is not the real invoices, and we were doing it specifically for this purpose. So you do not, I mean, we first of all should not be worried about any data privacy challenges. As you can see that everything was extracted, even though the quality is not the most readable, as well as if I want to extract some of information, I think that it is processing it in quite good quality. Yes, same regarding the line item itself. So it looks like it is recognizing all the information on the document. But then let's have a look on something more complicated. So speaking of the categorizing of the documents, here I have one document which is merged, and this merged document consists of three different documents. So on the first page, we will have an invoice. On the second page, we also have an invoice, but a different one. And then the third one, we'll have a credit note. I'll start with the third one to show you how the user experience would look like. First of all, you would still see all three documents in all three pages in here, but how you would navigate in there is just by clicking there, it would scroll down to the relevant document. And this relevant document, by purpose, you can see that we were trying to mess it up a bit. And we, for example, manually kind of cross the date and tell the tool to that here will be a new date, and it was able to recognize it without any pre-training, training, or enhancement. So it is out of the box recognition. Also, you can see how it reacts actually to the handwriting. So if I just select this text, it is quite well visible. And here I put the printed text on. So I would say that it is a little bit fancier writing. And if I select it, or if I select any part of it, so it is recognizing it quite well. But I would say that it is quite well readable text and well recognizable text. Here we have also a stamp. So if I want to recognize the information from stamp, as you can see, it is also possible. But up there on the first document, here is his signature. I can give a try and recognize, because I think it's quite readable. And we can see also what is mentioned in the signature itself. Any of these fields I can easily put in here, and it will train the model. And last but not least, here I was adding some additional information. It concerns to the different document, but what I was trying to write here is, it is in Slovak, it is written platba v hotovosti, and by purpose, I didn't write it in the printed letters, but I write it with my, not the beautiest handwriting. And actually, I will first highlight the Slovak text and show you how it looks. And then also, so it says platba v hotovosti. Here we see one spelling. So this is the recognizing rate. We see the first mistake with a one spelling, or maybe one writing. It depends if you want to blame me in this. But I was trying to write platba, but it recognizes a platta. And then same I put in English. Yeah. So same information I put in English. And if we select this information, we will see that it says pay in cash. So not in theory, but in practice, we are more than happy to test it also on your documents and show how it on practical level addresses the challenges when it comes to either handwriting. Also very often we deal with unstructured line items that they are not in a separate tables, but in one line you have several line items, etc. And then I want to show you what is also happening beyond actually the recognition itself. So you have this document portal, which is optional to use. It is quite customizable, so we can create the different views for you. And here you have all those document types. So as we can see, this merged document has two invoices and one credit note in, which was designed by, like in this previous section, by prompting. We have a different quality of the recognition. And if you are wondering, here down out of the box, you get certain statistics available. So this is no extra payment or anything. So you get it within the price of the price per page, let's say, or price of processing. In case that you are interested to bring your data into your Power BI solution or any other business intelligence solution, it is possible as well. But here, actually, we are able to equip you with additional information out of the box, and this information can be visible to your user. So, for example, here, what we are showing is the pass rate, if it is manual or automatic, and what percentage it is in there for manual or automatic pass. Then we have the same information described in different dates. Yeah, so it is our demo environment, and mainly you can see when we were using tool for different demos. Here, the same thing speaks about the status of the documents, if they are done or in progress or pending or anything else. And also every day, like how many documents we were processing with the solution. And last standard field is, and here I was playing with the filters to see what are the different possibilities I can display. So here is all the recognition for all the documents. You can see that majority is over, like for 100% recognition, we have 115 documents. Then quite many documents are with the recognition over, I would say, 90%, 80%, etc. And we occasionally one or two documents we still get with a really lower percentage of the recognition. Very often case for this is, I will try to find it here with the, let's see what is the lowest one. It is that for on the level of the line items, some information is missing. So, for example, we are looking for a tax number in a document, but it is not there at all. So then for each and every line of the product, it would repeatedly say, okay, the tax rate is not in there, and we can just let the tool know that the information is actually not on the document itself, and then it can, then it can proceed further. Same thing here for this document. So whenever we actually process the document, I would for a moment open it again. We have a submit button, and we also have a possibility to retrain the document. So here, if it is already submitted, you will see the retrain button. For now, it is a submit button. And how it works is that whenever you submit, we can, and the most preferred way, I white label the information because I took the different case, but we provide this type of JSON back to you. So meaning that we can provide this information to any of the integration tools. We can put it to Power Automate, to, I don't know, Power Platform or UiPath, or I don't know, the integration tools as MuleSoft. So you can have this information put wherever you want. And I used to call it like ugly JSON. So we generate ugly JSON. And if not ugly JSON, we are also able to bring this ugly JSON into any other formats such as Excel or like that, depending how you want to see this information visible. But the best for the technical integrations is to bring it into the JSON itself. And with that, yeah, so this is the overview of the tool. I think that the main advantage besides the user experience and recognition rate is the thing that you should keep in mind, that all the configuration of the tool is happening in a prompt manner. So for every field you want to create, so for every line item field or column you want to extract, you have a possibility to actually write it in prompts and say exactly what you want to extract in there. So you can, without knowing any programming or anything, actually set up and configure the tool quite well. And then only for the remaining, I don't know, the integrations through API, etc., you would need to align with your developers, so use low code, no code platforms to put it all in a one flow. With that having said, I think that we are reaching closer to the end of this session, and as time-wise we were a little bit overrunning, I have one last slide. I think that it is nice to see it on the theory, on the invoices or any other documents that we pre-prepared. But if you would like to throw your documents into this tool and see how it will perform on your documents itself, you can just scan the QR code, and you can leave your email address, and we can reach out to you and actually go ahead and proceed with the dedicated pilot, which is free of charge. We can configure this environment for you so you can give it a try on your real cases. And it doesn't have to be a financial documents. It can be any type of the documents. So that's it from my end. If there are any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Wojciech, I don't know if you want to add anything. If no, I think that we can wish our audience the great rest of the day. So, Wojciech?
Yeah, I don't see any questions, but if I can have one, Edward, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's not set up, guys. We didn't agree on that. If I would like to implement your tool within my team, the question is, what kind of skills should my employee have to use fluently your tool, and how much time does it take to really be a good user, experienced user?
I think that mainly it is not about the setup, but about the business users, and we provide the training for them to understand how to train the documents. They don't need to be programmers or anything. What they would do is they would on a daily basis, just whenever the verification needed, they would go into a document and they would mark the fields. So I think that they rather need to have a better understanding of the document structure and everything what is more business related. For the configuration of the tool, I think that experience with the integrations like API, etc., would be helpful if you want to bring this output of the tool somewhere further, integrating it directly with the SAP or Oracle or you name it. But for the configuration of the tool itself, we provide the full support, and B, a lot of fine tuning afterwards. Like if you want to add or remove some fields or retrain it, this all is done in a normal human language thanks to large language models.
Okay, cool. Any
Good.
questions from the audience? Okay, if not, you can always find us, guys. We are on LinkedIn. We are here and there. We are always there to help you. Thanks a lot for your time, and wish you a good afternoon, good evening.
Thank you, and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
All the best. Cheers.